battling his demons, putting his body through hell in its war with opioid addiction, until his body finally threw out the white flag of defeat. You won, Finn. Your destructive willpower outlasted the shell you were born in, just like you always said it would. And now, you'll never get the chance to make me smile or laugh again. No more secret smiles for me. The rest of the cab ride was silent, much to my relief. My hands shook as I remembered the letter in my hands. The last and only letter Gemma wrote me while I was gone in rehab. But did 2 sentences really count as a letter? I miss you. I hate it here, Mom. Those words, as much as it pained me to read them, gave me one small glimmer of hope. Gemma still calls me Mom. Not her deadbeat father, not my eccentric aunt and uncle, not my catty never-became-my sister-in-law Jewel. Me. I'm Mom. And regardless of my past mistakes, I always will be. The driver followed a snaky paved road, past a meadow teeming with wildflowers. Rolling my window down, I drew in the heady perfume. Nice to catch a break from the cornfields and cattle shit. A gentle hill arose from the earth, and then the cab rattled to a stop. "Here we are, ma'am," the driver said, careful not to call me Miss again. After hours of passing nothing but grainy farmland, smudgy patches of churches and painted farmhouses, I was finally here. The rotting monstrosity rose before me like a bad dream. I lowered my sunglasses, taking it all in. The house had been beautiful once, you could tell, but the rotten, peeling Victorian that belonged to my aunt and uncle looked to be on the verge of collapse. Steeply pitched points and arched windows gave the house a Gothic appeal. Creepy. Now this is my daughter's home, too, I thought, unable to hide my shock and dismay. Truth was, I could barely remember Cedar Farm from my youth, having spent so little time here. In my mind's eye, I'd imagined a cutesy farmhouse, something wholesome with chickens and ducks. Not this dilapidated, pseudo-haunted house. But it was my aunt and uncle who had turned up at my court hearing after Finn's overdose and my 3rd arrest. It was they who had volunteered to take custody so that Gemma didn't become a ward of the state. With my own parents dead and gone, the chances of finding an alternative to foster care had seemed slim. Until my long-lost relatives showed up to save the day. Deep down, I knew I should feel more grateful towards Sarah and Francis. They had taken in my daughter, whom they had never met. And now they were offering to take me, too. "You can stay with us until you're ready to bring her home," Aunt Sarah had offered over the phone when I was fresh out of rehab. But coming here, after 90 days of treatment and feeling disconnected from my daughter, all I could feel was bottled-up fear. Fear that they wouldn't give her back. Fear that she wouldn't remember how close we once were. Only 7. Gemma's resilient heart and mind might help her block me out for good. I'm clean. I'm sober. I'm taking my meds. I'm working the program. But good luck convincing the judge of that. And this house, it was nothing at all like what I expected. Not where I would have wanted to leave my daughter. But in times of desperation, I couldn't afford to be picky, could I? And after all, it was my own fault she'd had to come here. I have to accept the blame for putting her in this position to begin with. The driver popped the trunk and handed me the skinny yellow suitcase I'd had since I was a teenager. It contained extraordinarily little. 5 outfits, some panties and socks, a few toiletries, and my AA Bible, also known as the Big Book. Thank you, sir. I'd paid the driver in advance online, but I knew I should offer a tip. I scrounged through my dress pockets for a 5 and 2 ones, guiltily handing over what little loose cash I had. The driver